Thank you, Jenny. And then we have the one and only Mark McEwen. Mark, it's on mute. You're on mute.
Hey, unmute. My name is Mark McEwen. I am a stroke survivor. My stroke was bad. Coma for 2 days, intensive care for a week, rehab for a year. And like everyone else, you don't plan on having a stroke. Like everyone else, there are times before the stroke and there are times after the stroke. I wouldn't wish a stroke on anyone. And if we can prevent them, if we can help you to prevent them, I'm happy about that. This is the Language of Love Telethon. I met Renee, gosh, on stage, you were singing years ago. And here I am. But yeah, it's a happy Sunday. It's a pleasure to be here. And as Renee says, here we go.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. Mark, we are the blessed ones to have a person who has your experience and your love for life to join us, to be a part of our cause. It's you know what, Mark, it's just a little nod that we're going in the right direction and we're doing what we need to do in life. And we need that once in a while. You know, you keep going and going and going and going and going and doing, and you're in the center of it. And you don't see what is happening on the outside. And for you to acknowledge what we're doing is the right thing. It's really, really a gift. So I want to make sure that you know that from us.
Thank you, Renee.
So,
thank you so much.
You're welcome. And Mark, tell us a little bit of your thoughts on the importance of awareness for strokes, you know, and the work that we're all doing. How valuable is it? I mean, how crucial is it?
And, well, Renee, we met years ago at Judy's Run, the car show. Shout out to Bob Dombrowski. And so, you know, before I had my stroke, I didn't know anything about strokes, nothing. And now I know a bunch. It could fill a room. And, you know, mine, as you said, Renee, happened on a plane. I got off of the plane. The sky cap wheeled me through the Orlando airport and never said a word to me. And meanwhile, I couldn't talk. I kept trying to dial my wife on my cell phone, and it kept dropping out. And finally, he left me curbside by myself when I was dying. And I called my wife. Finally, I said, help me, not good. And she about lost her mind. And a guy came out of baggage claim. The guy looked at me and saw the phone. And he said, do you want me to take that phone? And I don't remember anything. I must have said, yes, he did. Talked to my wife, dialed 911, went back into baggage claim. He came out to smoke a cigarette, and we all know that's not all that good. And but that guy saved my life. I wouldn't know that guy if he walked in the room right now. I don't know his name. And I said in my TED Talk, it's the reason I believe in angels, because that guy saved my life. And, you know, off I went on this journey, and I was in a coma for 2 days, and intensive care for a week, hospital for a month, rehab for a year. And awareness, as you say, Renee, is important because to have none, you have no idea what is happening to you, how to make the odds of prevention to work in your favor. And when you have awareness, when you have that knowledge, you kind of you act differently. And because of that, when I speak around the country, the people who bring me there, I see stroke survivors. some of them in wheelchairs, some of them with their arms, they can't move them, the droop in their mouth. And I say to the person, I'll be right back. I go over to them. It's like coming home. You sit there and you hug and you love each other. It's wonderful. And it's, to me, important to give them hope. Hope is very important. When you have no hope, life looks differently to you. When you have hope, the air is sweeter. The ground outside is entirely different. When you wake up, you have a spring that you don't have if you don't have hope. So I try to give that feeling to people so they can have hope. Awareness. You can't give up. You can't. You can't. You have to go forward. You have to do your exercises. You have to be pig-headed. You have to be stubborn. You have to go forward. And because of that, there are a lot of people, when a stroke or happens to them, they think I'm the only one that it's ever happened to. No, that's not true. That when you have one, then you see, like mushrooms after a rainstorm, there are people all over the place, that stroke survivors. I always say people, everyone is dealing with something. And I didn't know that either. Whether it be a stroke or a motorcycle accident or a brain aneurysm or everyone is dealing with something. They don't tell you because sometimes they keep it to themselves. But once you realize that, again, hope is very, very important, and awareness for stroke is very, very important. And so I tip my cap to you, Renee. Language of love brings out the awareness. I think awareness is very, very important. So,
Mark?
Yes.
I just want to say that the condition of your arm stuck to your chest is called spasticity.
Right.
And that's one of the things that happened with my dad. And anybody, from a baby to a child to a young adult, teenager, to a senior citizen, anybody could have a stroke. And that's why it's so important to know all the signs.
Right, right. I always say stroke does not discriminate. Old, young, male, female, rich, poor, black, white, doesn't care, doesn't care. And the more you know, I always say this, the more you know, the more you know. And so those signs, the awareness is very, very, very important.
Yeah, strokes used to not be on the forefront of the news. It used to be something that people thought happened to only the grandparents, and who cares because they're at the end of their lives, right? I mean, that actually is the concept behind strokes. But the truth is that it doesn't. It happens to anybody, like you guys said, in any age. And that really is one of the goals and objectives of our foundation, is to let people know, like, no, it could happen to you at any specific time. And yeah, you probably have a better chance at recovery the younger you are. I will give you that. But you got to know the signs. And the truth is, if you don't, when you're young, you're kind of unaware. So you don't go to the hospital right away. And like Alicia, who ran to the hospital immediately, she is recovered immensely because she went to the hospital right away. Although, the other flip side is that there's some inner work that needs to be done, like your brain. When you suffer a stroke, it's a brain attack. It's not just on the outside physical of you. That's why aphasia is a really important part of our foundation, to make people understand that, yeah, you may look like you're the average person. But if you suffer a stroke, you got to have a little bit of compassion for people, because they may not be able to think or see clear at that particular time. With time, yes, it will level off. You will get it back with practice, just like playing softball, right, Mark and Alicia and everybody? Just like you're not a good softball player unless you practice. So yeah, so it's pretty important. Thank you so much and Mark, I would love to talk to you offline about we're talking to Dr. Beculus and Jason. We want to bring hope to the families around people that suffer strokes immediately. That would be could you imagine if somebody was there to support your wife going through it, right? To let her know there is hope. Like, we know there's hope because it happened to us, but to let them know, we'll support you through it, support the family members through it. So I really,
Renee, I want to say one thing. My wife saved my life. But what you don't, they don't talk about, you're in a coma or you're whatever. They are scared to death.
yes,
They have no idea what the future holds. And my wife put one foot in front of the other and saved me. And but you're right, you need people who support them, because the marriage vows, for better, for worse. For better is easy, for worse is entirely different. And when someone goes through the for worse part, thumbs up.
Yeah.
Just want to add something. I feel that when my dad had the stroke, I was scared to death.
Yeah.
And my husband was very supportive. I don't think I would have made it without his support.
Yeah. We're blessed. But thank you so much for, that information. That's crucial, Mark, crucial. So we're going to go to
I believe in music, and I believe in love. One more time, let's go. I believe in music. Lord knows that I believe in love. I believe in music. Lord knows that I believe in love. God bless everybody. Have a stroke of luck, and I'll see you next week. I believe in love. I believe in music. Lord knows that